Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Who Are You, an unofficial Doctor Who watch along podcast. Today, we're discussing the sixth Doctor story, The Two Doctors. So I guess it's also a second Doctor story in a way.
No, it's not. Let's not play games here. It's a six Doctor story. It's in a six Doctor season.
We'll talk about it. But before we get into the episode, my name, of course, is Ben, and I'm here with my co-host Cam. How you doing today, Cam?
I'm doing good. I'm enjoying. I took a little break from my Star Trek Next Gen first time watch. Just because it's like I really try to rush through those first two seasons because I knew that the quality wasn't as good. But then I try to keep up that same pace for season three when it was started to get good, and I was like, I shouldn't be rushing this. I should just try to do one or two episodes a day. But I had to take another. I had to take like a week or two off. I think I took like 2 or 3 weeks off, and now I'm back to it. Um, it's very good. It's I can definitely I'm at the point now in season three. I don't think season three starts off like that much different in quality wise. Like there, of course, you can definitely tell some like changes were made, but now I'm like halfway through it. You're like, okay, this is definitely getting to be different. This is getting good. And in particular, I messaged you earlier this week about like the yesterday's Enterprise and what's the
Offspring
child, the Offspring. Two episodes are just back to back like
with
bangers
Lol.
of episodes.
Oh yeah,
Like a great time travel episode and a great data episode.
all the greatest episodes are data episodes.
Yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to it now. Basically, now it's like, all right, I'm excited to see. I might butcher the name. But coming up, I have the Sarek. Is it Sarek or Sarek? The Spock's father. It comes back. I know.
Yeah,
I know I have that
Sarek.
episode coming back. I'm looking forward to that, and then I'm looking forward to, of course, watching the Best of Both Worlds for the first time, or maybe the second time. Because, like I said, I watched. I think some of the Borg ones at some point, but I don't remember anything about them. I remember I watched First Contact and I liked First Contact without having any knowledge. I'm very excited to go back to for that movie to see how it's like. I know it's a bit controversial in the fandom. I know that some people love it and some people are like, eh.
I think as TNG movies goes, that's one of the most well-liked.
I think it is the most well liked out, but then that's not saying much for some
Yeah,
people.
like Nemesis and Insurrection, Generations,
I watched Generations. I don't remember anything about it except for like the end. They had like some fight about like the I think it was like the MCU thing of like something in the sky, or no, it was a rocket. Like Malcolm McDowell was throwing a
yeah,
rocket or
it's
something.
like it's sold on it's a crossover, but Kirk is at the very beginning and at the very end.
Yeah,
And the end fight is just instead of just Picard fighting this fist fighting this guy, they're both fist fighting this guy.
yeah,
Most noteworthy thing is it's the canonical death of Kirk.
yeah.
Spoilers,
Oh, I've already seen it.
but for
I've already seen it.
not
Oh
everyone
yeah,
may have
somebody's
seen
watching
it.
this and just he watched all of Star Trek original series, all of the animated series, all the movies, all of Next Gen. He's just so excited to watch Generations, and then he's like, before that, I'm gonna listen to this podcast, and then he just got completely ruined his life. Man, way to go!
I'm so sorry, hypothetical person.
I feel like unless the spoiler is extremely important, it's 20 years is a good amount of time, right?
Yeah, and I
Like,
mean, this is a franchise that has had you know the range of time that things happen is like 1,000 years.
yeah.
Obviously, at some point, Kirk is gonna be dead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you spoiled, like, the drama. This really upcoming movie that's in movie theaters at this time. But anyways, this isn't a Star Trek podcast, Ben, unless you have anything to say. How are you doing, Ben?
I am doing well. I've been listening to a lot of music.
Mm,
I'm halfway through listening, I think, Rubber Soul for the first time.
mm.
After giving Help a couple listens. Uh, which first half so far is pretty good. and I'm just
Cool.
gonna keep going down the line. And then I've been re-listening to a lot of Pink Floyd because
Mm.
I have a spreadsheet and I'm rating every song so that I can, and I'm calculating average rankings for each album so that I can make a tier list for my
Mm.
other channel going
I
through
really like
different
Help.
albums.
For going back to the Beatles that you mentioned, Help is a good album. I think it's kind of underrated. It's the last of like that traditional Beatles record, but like you have some great songs on there. Of Ticket or Ride, of course. I've Just Seen a Face is a favorite. Highly recommend. There's a live version of it that Paul did for with Wings. That's really good. I'll send
Yesterday,
that
of
your way.
course.
Oh yeah,
I really like just the Help, the title
title.
track.
Yeah, the
That's
title
great.
track is great.
Yeah, it feels like it's right at the tail end of like every song being about women and romance and
Yeah,
sex and
and
more
then
broad going beyond the boy
yeah,
band to the artists.
yeah, and then you have that jump to Rebel Soul, and then you have that jump to Revolver, which is like even more of a jump.
Are they the original boy band?
I think there was others before then, but like nothing like that scale of like fandom and like women
Oh,
just
there's the
going out in
Jackson
droves.
5.
But that's
Oh no,
after
that
the Beatles, and
yeah.
that's not a boy band. That's just a like a family thing. That's children, Ben.
When I Wikipedia boy band, one of the first things it says is Jackson 5.
But anyways, Ben, this is an important episode. Let's get right into it. Two doctors.
Yes, the fourth serial of season 22, broadcast in 3 parts, not 2,
The
but
last like quote unquote six potter of classic
yes,
Doctor Who.
because it's 3 45-minute parts. Broadcast originally February 16th through March 2nd, 1985 on BBC One.
But no, wait a minute. You're going past. You're going too fast, Ben. Let's marinate a little
All
bit,
right.
okay?
So
The
BBC
death of the six.
One.
No, the death of the six potter. How do you feel? Are you gonna miss the six potter?
No.
Yeah, this one went on way too long. That was one of the things about this episode
Oh,
that it's like you could cut
100%.
so much out of this episode.
100%. Yeah, there are stories where it works,
Yeah.
but the vast majority, which thankfully, once we go from the third Doctor to the fourth Doctor, drastic. It went down to like one a season, but there was one, two, and three Doctors where every story is like 6, 7.
Yeah, and it can drag on. You're like, oh god, we have like 2 episodes of filler here. Where the doctor and the companion is in jail
Yeah,
again.
you need a really great writer to pull off
Yeah,
a six-parter, and
but even that it
the story
depends.
needs to be a grand enough scale for that to
Yeah.
fit. Or have, like, a really big shift where it feels like 2 three-parters or a two-parter
Hmm.
and a four-parter, like Seeds of Doom,
Hmm.
Seeds of Death.
Yeah,
Which is it? Yeah, I'm the one who usually remembers.
yeah, but honestly, both of them have that because like the Seeds of Death has that's the one that's the Patrick Troughton one.
Yes.
That one, even that one has kind of a shift of like you have the space stuff and then you have the Earth stuff. So even in like really the last 2 episodes of that I remember feeling pretty different because it's like dealing with like the Suds more than the Ice Warriors. And if my memory serves me correct.
It's been a while. I
I
barely remember
DMAT
the
DMAT it comes off too often in this podcast because I always forget Seeds of Death and Seeds of Doom.
but Seeds of Doom, I should say then,
Yeah,
is, I think, the perfect blueprint that
yeah.
six-parter should have used, but they just don't. So much is just s 2.5 hours of bullshit.
Hmm. But also I just want to point out that like, yeah, because the new series comes back. Of course, it comes back with this type of format of 45-minute episodes. Uh, and we don't get a three-parter until, like, technically Utopia, Sounds of Drums and Last of Time Lords, but that one, even that, it's kind of like it's not Doctor Who Magazine counts it as a three-parter, but the writer, Russell T Davies, doesn't count it as a three-parter. So it's like that's up for grabs. So, like, really the first three-parter is you could say, I think, is the Monk trilogy in season 10, which isn't great. I'm actually kind of looking forward to rewatching it. I've been meaning to rewatch it for a while. Don't look up Utopia stuff, Ben, if that's what you're looking up.
I was just scrolling through the TARDIS Wiki episode list, seeing if I see a lot of episodes labeled part 1, part 2. I don't
Yeah.
see
It's just the Monk trilogy.
anything part 3. Is the monk related to the monk at all, or is
No,
this a
no,
different monk?
they're these alien monks that are really boring and bland.
When are they gonna bring back the monk?
I think if Russell got a third season of Disney Who, he would have brought back the monk, but, like, the monk now this time would look different. It would be like an actual, like, I don't know. How do you mess up the monk design? Is he now gonna be a giant baby as well, like Omega? Like, how do you make a as because Russell T Davies' 2 era is, like, all about that scale of the bringing back that classic, monster villain, so it's like, I don't know how you do that with the monk. We got maybe one more with Russell T Davies to in the bucket for the Christmas special. So who knows, Ben? That might happen.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully.
Not to spoil anything to you about it, but like he does appear in like there might be a different gender, but they do appear in different big finishes.
Yeah, I know. There's
There
the
is
black
multiple.
hole and stuff.
So you have that to look forward to if you ever want to listen to some big finish with the monk.
Yeah. He's a decent villain. I like him in Meddling Monk and what's
Dalek Mastermind.
yes, Dalek Master Plan. But what were we talking about? Uh
It came out, Ben. When did it come out?
it came out February 16th through March 2nd, 1985 on BBC One. Written of course by the GOAT Robert Holmes,
Yes.
following up, you know, all he's done all the best stories, following up Caves of Androzani last season.
Yes. Also, good to point out this is the only target novelization he ever did.
Oh, he did it himself.
Yes, he did it himself.
Didn't give it over to Terrence Dicks.
No, he did not. He did that for Time Warrior. Time Warrior has like I think if I remember correctly, Time Warrior has like the first couple pages is Robert Holmes, and then eventually he was just like, Terrence, here you go. I'm good. I don't need to write this story.
So he must really like this story then.
Well, I would assume probably part of it is that like he just finished writing the scripts, and then it's like, all right, now I guess I gotta I'll write this book because it's like I'm already in that mindset, you know.
And then this was directed by Peter Moffat, which this is his last story. Previously did Twin Dilemma
Yes.
and the last multi-doctor story, The Five Doctors.
Which behind the scenes stuff, there's a reason why this is his last story. He did not this was a hell of a production. So basically it was at the end of the day, it was just like he was basically he wasn't asked back to for the show.
Really?
Yeah.
There's that much what drama or problems?
Yeah. According to TARDIS Wiki, Robert Holmes was unhappy with the direction, saying that it could have been more horrific, and Oscar's death should have been more tragic rather than comedic. And then Eric Sherwood also thought the story was poorly directed. I remember reading somewhere that also John Nathan Turner was just like the production issues and stuff made it so that like he wasn't asked back.
Produced, of course, by John Nathan Turner.
All right, Ben, give us a synopsis.
This is from the Doctor Who Classic YouTube channel. While the Sixth Doctor enjoys a peaceful fishing trip, the Time Lords send the Second Doctor and Jaime to investigate a research facility that is conducting unauthorized time experiments. Upon their arrival, they encounter a familiar and treacherous enemy who have set up a trap that unexpectedly reunites the two Doctors. Cam, what did you think of the two Doctors?
See, I always wanted to watch The Two Doctors.
You started it at least once.
So when I once I got like streaming and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna finally watch Two Doctors. And I remember one morning on like a Saturday or Sunday, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna finally watch The Two Doctors. I remember just being so off put by that first part. I was like, I'm good. Um, so now that's it's been almost a decade now. So I'm coming at it with a different brain, different mindset, and now guess what? I watched it in full, Ben. I still don't really like the story. I think the story, it's like, especially that I understand still why that first part really fucking just made me so disgusted. The direction is just like the direction and the production design is just so ugly and just so like unprofessional almost. This story doesn't have like any energy in my opinion. Um, but and then also the Sontarans are just I hate the designs of the Sontarans this episode so much, but we'll talk about that more later when we get more in depth. Um, but even though this story has a lot of flaws, it is fun to see Patrick Troughton and Fraser Hines back again. They are just there's a reason why they are the goats. Um, and it's just so fun just to see them back in those roles. And then I think that maybe it's because of Peter Moffat's direction this time around, or it's because of Robert Holmes writing the script. I've actually really liked Colin in this story. I don't think that this is his best performance so far, which we said last episode as well. But I think that like he gives a pretty solid performance, and I thought he was more doctory than normal. Maybe that's also because Pat's there, or even Fraser is there with him for a good majority of the story.
It's a good influence on him.
Maybe. But yeah, it's kind of like I think it's not a great story that has some redeeming qualities to it. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I I think I liked it. I don't think it's a great story.
Yeah.
It absolutely has problems. Big one being the length. I was bored a lot of times. There's so much fat you can trim with Oscar, Sontarans. You can get rid of the Sontarans and nothing changes. Um, but a lot of that, my qualms, they're superseded by Patrick Troughton. I love him. He's great. Like that first 10 minutes where it's just Patrick Troughton doing a good old adventure. Wonderful. Love it.
And you have it does start off with a great intro of it being in black and white, of course, and then it switches to color.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he's just great. I can tell, is just having a blast.
Mhm. I was thinking during it, Ben, um, do you think people of the time was like it was kinda like how people are like with David Tennant now, which are you aware of this? About people's the current feelings on David Tennant and the Doctor. So many people are like, "Oh god, I'm sick of David Tennant being the Doctor again." And like the rumor is that of course he's gonna be back this year for the Christmas special. So like everyone's like, "Oh, not more David Tennant." I'm just wondering if like is that what people felt like during in the 80s? It's like Patrick Troughton again. We just had him like a couple of years ago. Why do we gotta bring him up back to the show? Or do you think they were just like we love Patrick Troughton?
Yeah, it had been, according to the wiki, just 15 months since the Five Doctors, so just over a year, and he's back.
Yeah. A lot more gray hair.
Yeah, that was a must have been a hellish 15 months. He aged like 10 years. But he
um
looks fine. He looks good.
yeah. There is like since it was mentioned, like there's the special edition of this does like they did like color correct it, so he does have more blacker hair. If that really bugged you,
Not
you could watch the special edition.
the only thing the white hair brings up to me, like, I think he still has a lot of youthful energy.
Yeah.
Does bring into question timeline. Where does
Mhm.
this take
Well,
place
like
from his perspective?
yeah. This is the story where like the other two stories that he's in, Three Doctors and Five Doctors, there's definitely an argument to be made about 6B. This is the one that's like you definitely it's like no 6B happened. 6B is the thing because he's like he's traveling with Jamie now, and they're following orders from the Time Lords. It's like the events of War Games have already happened in this story, and they have already
But they're
also
talking about
happened.
Victoria and seeing Victoria off. So does this happen after Fury?
But, like, they're talking about being the Time Lords, like, they're working for the Time Lords, and they're doing what they're saying telling them to do, and he's in exile
Yeah,
and shit like that.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
but then, like, also Five Doctors does stay he whenever he sees Jamie and, Zoe, and he's like, "No, I this isn't true. You don't remember me." So that's why it's like timelines don't make sense. There is I think an After War Games box set with Big Finish probably filling in
Yeah.
more of those
I mean,
holes.
even I can tell you, just I've listened to a lot of companion chronicles,
Yeah,
and a lot of those are Zoe and Jamie. The thing with companion chronicles is oftentimes there's a framing story where they're like constantly being like hypnotized or talking about their dreams where they do remember. The memories are there. I don't think it's a stretch to say like they got booted back to their time. Five doctors happen. All right, doctor, we need you to go to this planet and we're gonna just grab Jamie, restore his memories real quick, and off you go.
yeah,
Yeah, so very, very 6B coded.
yeah, and also, like, you saw the tales from the TARDIS from the second Doctor, right?
Yeah,
So that also like, that's what also that whole thing is put up to place 'cause that's the episode where the memories are restored, remember?
yeah.
Um, so, like, who knows? I get like, there was a point where Doctor Who didn't even give a shit about canon, you know? All that matters is your head canon, let's be honest here.
Yes.
And it's just so nice to see, Patrick Troughton there. Any more general thoughts after I cut you off, Ben? Do you have anything more general thoughts to say?
That's kinda it. I'm just high on Pat.
Yeah. One of my complaints with the story is definitely not enough Pat, because there's a good chunk there where, like, he's gone from the story, and then he's locked up, so we it's only him, so we don't get enough of him and Jamie. We also don't get barely any of him with the Sixth Doctor.
There's like 5, 10 minutes in this
So, like,
over a 2-hour story where they're
yeah.
in the same room.
It's like, that's one of the things where, like, if I was, like, telling Robert Holmes, one of the greatest writers of Doctor Who, it was like, "How do you fix this story?" It's like, "All right, Robert, you gotta cut some of this stuff, and we gotta get more of the Second Doctor and six." The Second Doctor should have been freed at the end of the second part cliffhanger, so we got at least a full pot, 40 minutes of just Patrick Troughton
Yeah.
and Colin Baker.
Yeah, like, the beginning is great, and then we get, like, 20, 30 minutes of Androgum Pat,
Yeah, yeah.
which is not what I wanna see.
But
I
he
can
is so
tell
fun.
Pat is having a blast saying, "Oh, yes," you know, he's having
Hors
fun.
d'oeuvres.
You
I
gotta
wanna
have
get some shepherd's pie.
Yes. I can tell he's having a blast, but I wanna see the doctor, please.
Yes. Can I go on my Sontaran rant, Ben?
Yes.
Okay, Ben, the Sontarans this episode. This is probably the worst the Sontarans has ever looked. Gone, any of, like, the remember how good Lynx is in Time Warrior? Remember, like, how he has, like, hair on his face and, like, they use part of the actor's actual face with the mask, so it looks really fucking good. And then you get this story where it's just basically Men in Mask, and there's, like, no hair, there's no details, like, it doesn't even look like they painted the mask. It looks just like a or at least did like a coating of like a dirty wash on the coating. It just looks so much just like Men in Masks, especially when they
And they
talk.
have, like,
It's
little
just
rubber facial hair.
oh,
It's
it's so
it's
bad.
it's not good. And they don't add anything to the story. Like,
No.
they don't do anything that Shockeye, Chessine, or Destari couldn't do, other
Yeah.
than taking up time with this double, triple crossing.
And like, yeah, there's some stuff in here where it's like it's fun to see the Sometimes again written by Robert Holmes, but like
They don't really
it's
do
just
anything.
they don't do anything. And also, like I was talking about the mask being not good, but also the performances aren't good. Those actors that are playing the Sontarans are giving not like the actor that plays Lynx, I forget his name at the moment, but he is so good in that role in both as Lynx and Steyer, and I think it's Steyer and Sontaran Experiment. He is so good in that role, but like these actors aren't giving it that all. Even like the main commander in Invasion of Time is actually really good in that story, but this guy is like
Kevin
he's just kind
Lindsay
of just
is
like
who you're thinking of.
yes. But this guy is just like he's just giving just a general performance. He's not giving that extra just like like charisma and just like he's you know what I'm saying, Ben?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it feels very much just like a guy in a suit. Just like, "Oh, doctor, I'm a Sontaran, what's up?" Like, it's not like, "I'm a Sontaran and I am the battle fleet," and, like,
yeah.
I can't play a good Sontaran, but you know what I'm saying? Of, like, he's not giving it that, like, all and that physicality of the performance isn't there as well. It just is just he's kinda, like, just sitting there just like, "Okay, I'm a Sontaran. What's up?"
It's very flat and uninteresting.
And as someone who really likes the Sontarans, it's just
Do
like,
you really
oh,
like the Sontarans?
I do. They are an interesting villain. It's just, like, barely are used well.
When are they used well other than Time Warrior?
Alright, next question. Um, the War of the Sontarans, I think it was the episode, the 13th Doctor one is actually Chris Chibnall, weirdly enough, knows how to write Sontarans actually pretty well. I like there's a whole scene of the I'm gonna spoil it for you because 'cause you're gonna forget. There's a whole scene in the flux of a Sontaran really loving chocolate, and I think that is actually generally kind of funny. Some people have problems with it, but I thought that was actually a genuinely funny thing of just this warmongering race who's loving chocolate.
Maybe that's all they need to mend their hearts.
Yes, maybe the riddance, maybe they're not so bad. It's the ad of like all you need is a Snickers, but it's not Darren. But yeah, no, I agree with you that like you could cut them from the story, or you could cut the other things and make the Sontarans more the actual villain, and have the story just all be about the Sontarans wanting to get time travel, which is an interesting concept. But it's not. It's such. It feels so tacked on. It just felt like, oh, but Robin Holmes, we need a classic bad guy in this as well. You can't just have it be this
The
story about
Androgen.
the androgons and like the scientist when them wanting to get like time travel and the doctor's DNA and let's talk about that, Ben. This adds a whole nother level
Yeah.
to the canon, which is never brought up to again in my memory. I don't know if Big Finish ever expands on this, but Ben, explain to the people at home if they haven't watched this. What's the deal with the Time Lord's DNA and time travel?
The symbiotic nuclei that so are they like I'm sorry, I watched this like a week ago. It's
Yes.
like biologically connecting, I think, the TARDIS with its like because it's alive
Yes.
with the Doctor.
Yes.
So they're
So
like linked
mhm,
and it like stabilizes the person, the doctor, and who they're with from being like horribly disfigured through the process of time travel.
yes. But it's so weird just because there's so many instances of Doctor Who, especially New Who. I'm trying to remember a classic Doctor Who story where it's just the companion and the TARDIS time traveling. I don't remember any. I don't think there is.
I there definitely has been people
With
in
the
the
Doctor
tar
not in the TARDIS at all.
yeah,
Because of course you have like Castle Rova,
yeah, like
Tegan
Tegan.
kind of flew it, but then the Doctor was still in the TARDIS. So it's like, but like, especially in the New Who, there's so many episodes where like the companions or non-time lords travel the TARDIS without the Doctor, and it's just like, and this one is just like, well, you get that can happen. But I think this is the first like where is this the first time it's been told that the TARDIS and the Doctor have something in linked together? Because that is expanded on later on.
Yeah, I mean they talk about psychic circuits and, oh, that old girl, flirting with the idea that it's
Living.
living and has a consciousness.
But like that bond that the
But the
Doctor
TARDIS is
shares.
trying to tell me something.
Yeah. But, like, there's definitely they go more into that, and especially in one New Who story. If you have seen it, you probably know what I'm talking about. That really expands on, like, the Doctor and the TARDIS are, like, linked, but never like something like this. Um, I don't really like it, to be honest. I don't think that, like, it should be, like, a require it's such a weird, like, requirement that it needs the Time Lord DNA. It's like
Yeah, it's also weird that it also covers their companions, like it's a
yeah.
radius
Yeah, yeah.
area of effect to not. be killed.
Yeah. It would be more interesting if it was more like that they can literally not fly the TARDIS without the Doctor's DNA. It needs a Time Lord's DNA. It's like locked. So like even if it was something like that, that would be like, okay, so then they have access to the TARDIS. They have the key, but they can't fly it. So they need the Doctor's
I guess
DNA to
yeah,
be able to fly
yeah,
it.
it poses a lot of questions. Like, is this specifically the Doctor and his TARDIS linked, or is this like any Time Lord and any TARDIS?
Yeah.
Is this is this an open relationship or is it just one on one? Um, and how does that relate to like, oh, the Doctor, I think stole this TARDIS.
Yeah.
Like, is this of something that develops naturally, or is that just
Yeah.
something that all Time Lords have this with any TARDIS, and it doesn't really matter?
And also, like, what about all the other creatures that can time travel? Like, I'm thinking of like the Daleks in particular. Of like,
Oh yeah, the Daleks have time traveled many a time without this, yeah, symbiotic nuclei. It really puts a monopoly on time travel when
yeah,
there provably are other times that it has happened with no
yeah.
Time Lord involvement.
But I gotta say, I do like the initial concept of it, of just like it's one of those things where like, yeah, you can. Robert Holmes is a good writer because it's like I like that this episode starts with like, no, we have to send the Timers have to send the Doctor there because like the screwing them with time, and because they are the managers of time basically. They have to sort it out. They have to send the doctors there to make sure that they're not doing time shenanigans
They're not
and messing with
ripping the
the
fabric of
yeah.
space and time apart,
It's like,
destroying the
that's cool.
universe.
But what's not cool is like the more when they get in more details of it, it should have just been like they're conducting time experiments and the doctor has to stop them. Like, or if they continue with these experiments, what will happen will be time will just fucking rip apart or some shit like that.
Did you like that first 10 minutes with just Pat and Jamie,
Yeah,
black
that's
and
my
white, in an old,
yeah,
they brought out not the old TARDIS console, but the
yeah,
previous one from like season 8, 1920.
yeah. Which is a shame. I wonder what happened to that original one if they had it somewhere, or if we even have it
The
still now.
wiki said they had it. It was just like decayed beyond
Yeah,
use.
bummer.
But I mean, it's a good console. I really like the
Yeah,
like the door lever on it. It's so much better
yeah.
than this weird like curved thing that they have to like pull and push
Yeah.
in. A nice big lever
Mhm.
is good.
But, like, I think the first 10 minutes are probably the best 10 minutes of the first pod.
Yeah.
And then it just and then it's just like, "Oh, shit, we're with Colin, now he's fucking fishing." It's like, "God damn it, that's not a great start." And then the rest of that episode, I think, is really boring when they get to that when they get to the station, and
Yeah, and the AI is trying to get them.
it's like that stuff is really just like, ugh. I was not a fan of also like yeah, it's kinda more interesting when Jamie gets involved, but then when we get,
Jamie
like, those
doesn't get
2
involved the part 2.
yeah, but then, like, then we get into when we get to Spain and we get those 2 other people, it's just like, I'm not a big fan of those 2 characters.
I will say, I agree with the point you made earlier that I actually really like Colin here.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if it's his greatest performance but I think it's his most likable. Like,
Yes.
he's the most doctor-like he's ever
Yeah.
been.
He is the most doctorish in this because probably because one of the guys that is knows how to write the Doctor in his sleep is writing it. It's like
That probably
Terrence Dicks
helps.
and Robert Holmes are the 2 writers that's like, they can just write doctors in their sleep. So it's just like, you know, like, I bet you, like, all the Sixth Doctor books that Terrence Dicks wrote, it's probably a little, like, the same thing where it's just like, he's just writing the Doctor.
I found Colin likable even.
Wow. Which is weird to
Crazy.
say about your main protagonist of the show. The '80s was wild, man.
Yeah. I thought it might be Stockholm syndrome, but it might just be Robert Holmes syndrome.
Yeah.
We'll see how he fares in the
And also,
next
like,
few.
even Perry isn't, as annoying this episode, you
Yeah,
know? she's not as much whine. She doesn't whine throughout the whole story. Like there's one moment where she's again a damsel in distress, where it's like, oh, come on, Robert, get with the times, man. Get with the times.
Yeah. Both cliffhangers are her being attacked, and especially the second one, it's very kinda, like, sexual assaulty, like,
Yeah,
just gross.
yeah. But this story is kind of gross. Like not kind of gross. It is gross. Like
Yeah.
this, it's off. This story is off-putting, even though like we're saying like it's the most likable Colin has ever been. But the story itself is still not like it's not inviting you back every week to this to go watch more Doctor Who. It's like, this is just like what's going on here? That's how I feel about like two doctors. I'm like,
Yeah. Shockeye, who I think is the de facto main antagonist, um, is definitely not enjoyable to watch and hear his little, yeah, yes, I'm gonna chop him up and eat him in a stew."
and
Um,
some for some reason Robert Holmes is like, this is a metaphor for meat eaters. It's like, okay, Robert, he's just kind of just gross, just in general. So it's not like it's not like he's just it's not like he's just a carnivore that just eats meats like Joe Rogan. He's just like, I need my meat. He's just like he'll eat anything, you know.
he's a foodie.
So it's just kind of where it's just like this is a statement about vegetarianism. So Ben, do you think that you're going to be turning vegetarian after watching the Two Doctors?
I do not think I will. What I do wanna talk about, the androgum. Is
Mm.
it just me, or does it feel like racist? Like,
This is against who?
I don't like the idea, which the both doctors reinforce continually, that there is this species who is just in their nature, that they're cruel and primitive and animalistic.
Yeah.
They can't change, they can't evolve. They're base. It's I just feels gross to me. Like they could never let Shockeye be played by a person of color. Then that would be
No.
like alarm bells.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what are we doing here?
Well, with the way that his getup is, it's kind of like racist against Scottish people. Like, is it was Robert Holmes like old fashioned English that he's just like he hates the Scottish, and that's what this is all about?
I'm not necessarily thinking it's like
Or do you think this is just unintentional racism on Robert Holmes' part?
it just feels like a stereotype
Yeah,
of a that shouldn't exist for a kind of people,
yeah,
regardless of who
yeah,
the real world analog would be.
yeah. Especially like the Doctor saying it is weird. Especially like you ever get to the new series. The new series is like the Doctor would never say anything like that.
Yeah. They're like,
So it's
"Oh,
just like
I'm trying to like bring her up," and she's like, "No, she'll destroy the world. That's in her nature."
yeah.
It feels the doctor should not be talking in absolutes that way. The doctor should be for the evolution of things. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does, but especially, like, it makes more sense when it's, like, the new series, I feel like also, like, leans into that way more heavily of just, like, like, there's, like, one line that I was like I'm not gonna spoil it. But, like, yeah, it's just awkward, and then, like, it does, like, it feel like you said, it feels racist, but, like, it's not anyone in particular, but it does feel racist in just in generally of just, like you said, you couldn't cast somebody of color in that role. It would just be too too much. But yeah, let's talk about Spain, Ben. This is the last time Classic Doctor Who goes outside of UK. Previous two examples are City of Death, of course, which is like uses that Paris location so much, and Amsterdam in Occupant Infinity, which we both were kind of like it didn't really need to go to Amsterdam. What do you think of the Spain in this one? Of course, if you didn't know, behind the scenes, it was gonna be New Orleans. They were gonna probably get some financing from like PBS, I would imagine, who was the American distributor of Doctor Who in America. But that must have fell through, so then they couldn't inform America. 'Cause you have to think of the globe. Britain to America, and especially New Orleans. That's like a lot of that's a lot. That'd be a lot of money. But then Spain's like right there, so they just went to Spain. But even that, Spain supposedly cost way too much money, and as well as like they were flying. Those two like supporting cast members that's in like the guy and the girl that they find in Spain when they get there. You know who I'm talking about.
Oscar and Anita.
Did some shooting and then they were like, oh shit, that got like scratched. So they already flew them back to England, so they had to fly them back to Spain to reshoot that stuff. But then they realized that it actually wasn't scratched and it was usable all along. So just like production issues like that, where like when you're not in just
Yeah.
your base location, you're gonna cure. So what do you think it was worth it at the end of the day? All this pain to film in Spain. Also, if you can't tell by the video, extremely hot in Spain at this time. I feel really bad for the people in those Sontarans outfits, even though they're not good performance. They were must have been dying in those outfits. Because even of course Colin doesn't get his big jacket.
Yeah. I mean, on location filming is always nice to look at. I feel like aside from, I think in part 3 when we go, Pat and Shockeye running through a Spanish village, um, that's kind of fun. But all the plains and the estate.
Which just to go back to before we move on from that, I just want to say to if that imagine that, but how much better that would be if it was New Orleans and they're getting some jambalaya and some fried shrimp and some crawfish. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. It looks nice, but I don't know how much it really adds to the story.
Yeah.
The one kind of Spanish character is the old woman who dies.
But like it's my weird thing is like they have a problem of just you can never top City of Death of like the way that City of Death uses its location. And this one is like you can kind of tell production things. If I remember correctly, I've read somewhere that like Robert Holmes wasn't too like overly thrilled about New Orleans stuff, and he wasn't overly thrilled about the Spain stuff. So it was just an afterthought at the end of the day, and it kind of feels like that. This could easily just been like any town in England.
Yeah.
It does. It's not like City of Death where it's like we're going to Paris, and Paris is the main the main character in that story.
Yeah.
This is just feels like it's just like it could have been anywhere.
I don't think money well spent necessarily.
Yeah. Even though I do enjoy when they go to the city in Pot 3. I think that stuff was fun. But the rest of it, when they're just on that manor, and it's mostly just that manor, it's just like, I don't know. It's not adding too much that like this is completely different looking. It's not something that like you're not watching British TV and be like, oh, I gotta stop here and watch this because what's this on the TV? We talked about Pep. We didn't talk about Fraser. What do you think of Fraser? He's back in the kilt, even though he's not the same age as he was when he wore that kilt originally.
Yeah. Pat pulls it off, I think even with the white hair. Frasier Frasier is definitely 16 years older. He's not aged. I mean, I don't know how old he's supposed to be in his original run, but he looks a lot older. Like
Yeah,
I didn't even necessarily recognize him as Jamie just based on like the
really
face.
interesting.
Doesn't have quite the youthful energy that Pat even still has at this point.
Yeah, you can kind of throw that phrase. It's like, why am I doing this? I'm too old for this.
But, I still really like him. He
Yeah,
does a good job.
he's fun with
Uh,
Colin.
yeah.
It is a buffer there for the Doctor doesn't pick on Perry too much. The story just because of Fraser's there, so he can pick on Fraser, and
Yes.
he's able to take it more than Perry. That's just like, oh no, Doctor, stop saying that.
Yeah, it's fun to have this, like it was in 5 Doctors to some degree, having an old companion with a new doctor is a fun
Yeah.
dynamic.
And also, like, it is a good, like, payoff of, like, we of course, 5 Doctors, we didn't get Fraser because of scheduling stuff, and it's nice to, like, "Alright, we got Fraser Hines back as Jamie."
If only we coulda gotten Zoe. Although Zoe
Eh,
would have been because Zoe's supposed to be, like, a young girl, and
Yeah,
now she's probably in her, like, 30s or
yeah. It's we only need is Jamie. Jamie's the one
Jamie's
that's
the GOAT.
like the goat. Yeah. But again, another culprit of this is that like him and Pat only had like 15 minutes together throughout the story. It's such a shame that like we didn't get more of that.
It almost makes me wish they shoulda pulled a David Tennant back in the '80s instead of Sylvester. We're bringing Pat back with Jamie for a couple seasons.
Just you wait. I think you're gonna like Sylvester. There's a lot of Pat and Sylvester.
Really.
So yeah.
I'm optimistic with, McCoy. I feel like I'll like him in the end.
Of course, you know him only from the Hobbit films
Good
as
old
Radagast.
Radagast, yes.
I always love. There's a story of like Peter Jackson, of course, massive Doctor Who fan, which is why he casted him.
Oh, really?
Um, and you didn't know that?
No?
Why else would you cast Sylvester McCoy in a big Warner Brothers Lord of the Rings movie? But,
I did not know that he was a doctor before
uh,
I
but,
saw
uh,
I only learned that he was a doctor in the last few years. My starting point of Doctor Who knowledge, I went from nothing to wherever I'm at now in the last few years.
but there's this great story of, like, at the end of shooting The Hobbit, he was like or at least the end of, like, wrapping Sylvester on it, he was like, I waited my whole entire time to do this, but, like, I just work with Doctor Who, I'm so excited, let's go." Just like a little kid of just being like, "I worked with the doctor, I did it. Screw the Oscars." But yeah, anything else to say about this 2 doctors, Ben, before we get into other, segments at the end?
I don't think so.
I think we covered a lot of this story.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't go beat by beat, we covered a good majority of the key things about the 2 doctors.
Although we didn't talk about Oscar. How much do you love Oscar and his moth collecting?
Ugh, it's just a very unforgettable, I would say.
He's not a companion that should have been and died tragically. His death at I had 0 emotion. I do not care. And even the I don't know if it's the directing or what, like, the actor's not selling it either. He's literally like,
No.
"I'm dying. This is over for me." And he's very clearly or he's not even doing, like, a voice. He's just like, "I'm dying. It's over for me." Just whatever. But that reminds me, Cam, I have a question for you.
Yes.
In the text, in canon,
Mm.
do they ever refer to the doctors by number? Like, "Oh, that's the 6th Doctor, that's the 11th Doctor," or is it always just,
So,
"That's the Doctor, that's the Doctor, that's the Doctor"? I
the
know there's
only one
Timeless
I would
Child, so,
say
like, the number
yeah,
is kinda made up anyway, but I didn't know if
yeah.
in
And
canon
also
they ever
yeah,
do
there's
that.
another thing. Also, the War Doctor. The War Doctor is the one that really fucked it up at first. Um, but y so, not to get too much in spoilers, but, like, 11th Doctor, there's a couple of things there that, like, there's a lot 11 isn't a recurring thing in that era, and it's kind of annoying of just like, why are we seeing so much of 11 here? It's like, that's so weird of just, like, you're calling attention to it. Don't call attention to it.
I mean, I
Um,
guess there's, you know, I'm on this number regeneration,
yeah.
but is it, they don't say, "Oh, this I'm the 7th
No.
Doctor."
There is I I will highly recommend when we get to it, Day of the Doctor, the target novelization. I know that you said before that you weren't the biggest like interested in the novelizations because you already watched the story.
Not as much as the originals.
The one exception of that is the Day of the Doctor because Stephen Moffat adds so much to that novelization of like it's from the Doctor's POV. And of course, it's a multi-doctor story. So you get chapters where the Doctor is describing the other doctors in his point of view.
Oh,
So it's like
that's
not
interesting.
he doesn't number them, but it's still the doctor talking about his other regenerations in his POV, so it's
Cool.
that's fun.
I mean, yeah, if it's interesting enough. The one novelization I started to read, was The Daemons, and I was just reading essentially the script. Like, there was no value being gained by reading it.
I would say that some of the new Who ones, I would say, and I know that the Remember the Doc is supposed to be one of the big ones.
Yeah.
Like the stew. My plan is to read that by the time we get to the episode and the podcast. But like the new series really like the new series knows that well we already have the episodes, so they really do play more around with like adding new things and changing things up and stuff.
So how could the story be improved?
Yeah, like you already mentioned, just get rid of the Suntans or get rid of the I already forget the name. What's the name of those guys?
Oscar and Anita,
No, the actual villains.
Shockeye,
No, the
Chessing,
race of them.
Androgum?
Yeah, just get rid of the Androgans. Like it's just weird. Just have it be a Santan story or do this Androgan story. It's like one of the two, you know?
I think if I were a Robert Holmes, I would cut the Sontarans and keep the Androgum, especially if you want this whole
Yeah.
thing to be a metaphor for meat eaters or
Yeah. Really lean
something.
into that, Robert. That would be my thing. Of like
Yeah,
have that payoff of the doctor at the end saying he's a vegetarian actually be like, okay, that's actually deserved. It's not deserved here.
yeah, the Androgum are more interesting than the Sontarans here, so I think that's the direction
I
I
would
would
agree.
go. Cut the
Yeah.
Sontarans, cut Oscar and Anita. Already, you're down, like, half an hour.
Yeah.
Cut a
And more
l
Pat, of course, like we mentioned,
Yeah,
more Pat in general.
more Pat and Colin together, I think, is the key thing. Because that's the fun part of a multi-doctor story, is seeing the doctors interact with each other, and they barely do, other than saying, "Oh, it's you," but, oh, well.
How much are you looking forward to the Doctor as a vegetarian, Ben?
0 thoughts at all. Is he a vegetarian from this point on?
No spoilers. No spoilers here.
Okay.
New series, of course, does. You will see the Doctor eats stuff in new series, so you will see. You will see what he's eating. You have to play close attention now, because you're gonna have to know he's a vegetarian.
Worst special effects.
All right, I have it. It's like at the end of part one. It's like whatever those service ducts area is that they go into. You know what I'm talking about? Like on the state space station. That whole room that looks like a laser tag.
Oh, yeah. It looks like they were trying to do, like, what they did for Carnival of Monsters,
Yes,
but it just
but it's
doesn't
not as good.
work.
It's not as good as well as being like you there's more of a critique here because it's like, guys, it's 10 plus years later. Like you have to like do a little bit more than that.
Yeah, it's just pipes.
And it's like
Um,
glow in the dark stuff. It looks very much like laser tag area or like an arcade.
and the Sontarans aren't very good.
No, I hate them so much, Ben. God damn it. Best special effect is actually hard for this story. I don't know what would be the best special effect. Best special effect is Patrick Town's performance when he changes.
I don't know. There's not.
Yeah, there's not a lot of special effects this story to stand out. Special effect, the easy transition from black to white to color.
Sure, that works. Does it add anything for there to be a couple seconds of black and white before transitions?
Yeah, because it's it's that fan just winking of just like, "Oh, they doing the thing." You know, I remember that used to be in black and white.
I guess. Cliffhangers?
Cliffhangers, man.
First one, we actually have multiple this time because it's a three-part event.
Whoa!
The first one, Peri is attacked by a cloaked figure, and then the doctor triggers a trap that sprays him with gas that knocks him unconscious, and then he kind of falls forward and like hangs from these wires. Part two, Shockeye chases Peri, who trips, and then he stands over her and says, "Here, my pretty one," while reaching out to grab her.
just it's just gross. That's all it is.
Yeah, two things of Peri being assaulted.
Yeah. I guess the first one just because the second one you can't you just you can't no.
I mean, second one's a better cliffhanger, I would say. I'm more on the edge of my seat, even if it's more uncomfortable.
I guess.
Better
Let's
than
just
the
move on,
doctor
Ben.
hanging there.
Ben, let's just move on.
Um, so Cam, how would you rate the two doctors?
Okay, so I think going into this, I think I probably would have rated it a little bit lower, but I think actually talking about it with you, I think I don't mind the story as much. I still don't really like it. I think I'm just gonna give it a 6. It's like I don't it's fine, I guess. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not the best thing. It's a 6. It's not 7. 7 is okay in my heart. So it's like 6 is like a little bit lower than okay, but it's not like it's like meh. It's meh.
I would say absolutely has problems, but at the end of the day, I think I liked it. It's a I'm gonna do a 7.1 for an average rating of 6.55. And then to talk about the polls, Doctor Who magazine does a poll every decade since the 90s. Of course, as always, there's an asterisk here with the trial of a Time Lord being treated as one story instead of four. Uh, but with that in mind, the Two Doctors is ranked in 2023 number 3 of 8. Same as well in 2014 and 2009. In 1998, it was actually ranked number 2 above Vengeance on Varos.
Crazy.
But at number 3, it's right above The Trial of a Time Lord and right below Vengeance on Varos. So, probably in the camp of good, I would say, according to this
Yeah.
list. If Vengeance on Varos is also considered good.
Yeah, and then like when we look at 2014, the full poll list, it ranked 138. And above it is Invasion of the Dinosaurs, which is a story that me and you both liked a lot. And then 139 is The Claws of Axos below it, which is a story that I really liked that you weren't as hot on. So it makes sense that it's in that range. I like both of those stories more than the two doctors, but I understand why it's in that range. It probably gets a little bit of a bump just because of Pat is in there and people are just like, oh, Pat's in there.
Oh, but this is it for Pat. This is it
Yeah.
for multi-doctor stories, not including Dimensions of Time,
Thank you for making sure.
until Day of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Is this a gimmick you're glad came back, or should it have stayed gone?
Multi-doctor stories?
Yeah.
I like multi-doctor stories, they're fun. We're
Should
just at the
we
point
have
now
done a
where it's
more? A 7 and 6? A 7 and 5?
no, it's I like that it's like it should be like every, like, 10 years. I don't like that, like, we gone to the point now where it's become a little bit too common to have multi-doctor stories. I like back in the day where it's like especially when I was like an early New Who fan, so it's just like back in the day, it's like we dude, Day of the Doctor was a big fucking deal. And now it's like, now if another doctor's in a episode, it's like, oh, it's Friday.
We still need an all living Doctor story. 4 through 15 all in one story.
Yeah, Eccleston would just Eccleston would never do it. He might say he would, but like
But
he's
we
never gonna
can
do it.
AI him now.
You would need his right. You would need his like. He would need his
No, I
okay
hope
with
they
it, and you
never
would have
do
to give
it.
him a shitload of money. Also, I feel like Christopher Eccleston is definitely one of those actors that would just never allow himself to do
What
AI.
if
I would be disappointed if he said yes, but he seems like one of those actors that's just like he would be like, no, that's my best Christopher Eccleston impression.
yeah. I hope Michael Troughton and Sean Pertwee never give the A-OK to, yep,
Yeah.
you can put an AI version of my dad in there.
Yeah, or Tom Baker. Oh, Tom Baker would be so sad. The Baker State. Baker State. All you need to get is that son that works at that pub. Like that guy can just do it. You remember that video when you're just like, oh, no paternity test is needed for that one. He's definitely Tom
I
Baker's
don't
son.
recall this. You'll have to send it to me again.
I will. It's just Tom Baker's son. It's just like it's the full mannerisms is just like, "Hello, my name is like Chris Baker. I own this pub."
Well, I think that'll do it for today's episode. Join us next week for Time Lash.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You never know. Mark of the Ronnie. Oh no, you didn't. You gave it a 4. I thought Mark of the Ronnie was fine, and this I thought was good. So I'm hopeful that this continues the trend of stories that I think are going to be awful but are actually okay.
See,
Have you
I
watched Time
just
Lash before?
I have, and I remember it just being like the one of the worst experiences of my life. So like, I'm not looking forward to it.
Damn,
So join us next week.
for that, yeah. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Peace out, everyone.